Welcome everyone to episode 1 of my full commentary game that I'm going to be playing the Cravers for. We are on patch 1.0.52, which is the current patch that when I'm recording this video. We are going to be playing the Cravers with our standard AI settings. 10 competitors, endless difficulty, hard pirates, normal speed, random galaxy shape, huge galaxy size, few constellations, and medium density. We aren't having the Lumeris or the Rift, or not the Riftborn, the Lumeris or the Unfallen appearing as AIs, because the AI is really stupid with the non-standard colonization systems of those two races. The Unfallen require the entangling of systems before they can be colonized, and the Voidiani make arcs and then colonize system with those. And the AIs really just don't know how to utilize those unique colonization systems very well. And so they end up just being ultimately incredibly weak and stupid. So I just to get rid of them for the AIs, make it a little bit simpler, let them do the more standard races, so it's a little bit more of a challenge. So let's get into that, into the game. So this is going to be a full commentary series of videos where I'm going to be playing from beginning to end, commenting on what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, talking about game mechanics in each episode. Hopefully I can provide some valuable tricks and tips for everyone who wants to play the Cravers. And even those who don't, hopefully I can illuminate some of the more the subtle mechanics of the game. So, looking at our start, we're starting with an ocean in our main place, which is incredible. The single most important thing for the Cravers to have a good start is to have a tier 0 or tier 1 planet, meaning a planet that you can either instantly colonize or you only need one of the first two sciences, so a tundra or Mediterranean, to colonize. And the reason for that is your starting planet, Husk, starts mostly depleted already. So you only have 19 turns to get all of your Cravers to a new planet before they lose their amazing Craver 2.5 FID multiplier. So having this ocean here, incredibly good for us. It's going to lead to a really good start, probably. The operative word is probably lead to a good start for us. Since we had 5 anomalies or 5 curiosities in our starting place, we're going to grab all of that free XP using our hero on a salvager fleet, in a fleet with a salvager. And it looks like our luxury resource is going to be Dark Glitter, my absolute least favorite. In fact, using it as a my system development, system modernization resource actually lost me a game once, because what it does is it increases your population or your manpower cap for your systems by 200. But I was so strapped for manpower the entire game, I never went above 0. I could never convert to tanks and aircrafts for my invasion forces. Also, my fleets never had full manpower for actual invasions, and it ended up losing me the game almost by itself. And I learned to always hate Dark Glitter from then on. It's pretty much the worst. Alright, so we used both probes from this scavenger, but we're going to do a little trick, which is where we're going to go and edit the scavenger itself, take out this engine, put in another probe, so it's going to have a total possibility of 5 probes. But you can see that the upgrade cost is greater than our starting dust. So we're also going to take off one of its guns, and that goes down to 80, which means we'll be able to upgrade it. So when you upgrade a scavenger or any exploration ship, it actually replaces all of its probes. So we used its 2 probes, upgraded it, and we got 4 more. So we're actually getting 6 probes from this ship on turn 1, which is great. Then we can we can scout all 5 of our systems on turn 1. Next, we're going to do another trick. So using probes cost movement speed. You can see that this fleet no longer has any moves. But if we take this scavenger, make it into its own fleet, grab our other starting scavenger and move it into our hero's fleet, voila, we have 2 more probes and 4 movement speed. So we're going to take him and our remaining scavenger and move off in this direction. We're also going to use our last probe here and send it down this alley, and then next turn he'll be moving over here. We're going to keep our pupa at our starting place just to see where it's going to be best. Obviously with the jungle and the ocean, we're going to want to start Xeno-Industrial and then do a colonization, and then probably either build another pupa or start our Locust Swarm. And the Locust Swarm is my patented early game Craver strategy. Locust. Where you take your exploration ship and turn it into a super early game attack ship. So if you guys ever played StarCraft, this is kind of like a Zergling rush, where you take these super cheap ships, turn them into relatively decent fighting ships, and then just go start early wars with either neutral civilizations or any nearby major civilizations. Even though I'm going to be doing all of those early wars, the Craver General starts with one of the best early nodes called Forced Labor, which gives plus 20% or plus 10 food on system per planet and plus 10 industry on system, and it's 2 levels, so it goes up to 20 and 20. This is one of the best early game nodes that you can possibly get, especially since we're going to be doing that early colonization on the ocean. It's going to give us 40 food and 20 industry early in the game. Okay, so research. So we're going to want to get the public-private partnerships as soon as possible, so we can get that nice big science boost. And then we'll probably go into a military focus after that, but you know, it's subject to change. We also want the Super Tax Act to generate some more dust, especially since, you know, we're not going to get into happy or ecstatic, so let's just take the small penalty for the significant boost in dust, because the great thing about Cravers is that any of those bonuses, like plus X for some FID per person on planets, all of those get multiplied. So this plus 3 dust per person on planets gets multiplied by 2.5 for every Craver on a undepleted planet. So it's actually giving us like 7.5 dust per Craver on undepleted planet. And it also gets multiplied by 2 for each slave that's being driven. So plus 6 dust per planet. 6 dust per person. That's why our dust went from, instead of plus 27, or I think it was 22 or whatever, for 3 people, normally it would have gone up to like 36 or 31, you know, plus 9. It actually went up by plus about 20. Yeah, so it must have been plus like 23. So we got 15 from these 2 and 6 from this, so plus 21. Yeah, so I think it was plus 22. Yeah, so so that is on turn 1 giving us plus 21 dust per turn. Really strong. Definitely something that we want to take advantage of, since there's not really a cost to doing it. Unfortunately, we didn't find any of our adjacent systems, so we're just going to have our pupa again just kind of stick around and wait. because we really want to have at least some information on where he's going to go instead of just blindly going into the unknown. So it looks like we still don't really have any information. Oh, I didn't even see that thing there. Oops, I wanted to send a probe. But I guess we'll just have him move. Yeah, so we're just going to have him sit there until we find at least something, get at least a little bit of information. Yep, and there we go. We have a tier 0 planet, a nice big medium ocean, just waiting for us to colonize. And that's why we wait. We waited until turn 3 in order to move, but if we had moved in either of these directions, we would have missed that and wasted more time. And that's something you never want to do. You want to get your first outpost down as soon as possible. Especially with Cravers, because you don't really have that major penalty like the other races who getting your first outpost down actually really hinders your food development of your main place. Cravers actually just produce so much food that they're able to grow fairly consistently, even with the food drag of an outpost. So you want to get your outpost down as quickly as possible, but you also want to put it in a nice place. This place is, it has the ocean, and then it has an ash and a lava, and especially this lava is garbage. Wow, irradiated and poor soil and metallic water. Yeah, that place sucks. We're not going to colonize that for a long time. So, this is a decent place. Not great, but at least it will get us started. Okay, I can't think of anything else I want to do yet, so I'm just going to keep moving along. So now we are starting our first chapter of the Craver's storyline quest. Always, always, always choose to capture the hostile Craver vessel, because you actually get to keep the vessel. If you destroy it, your reward is getting something like plus 20% food on outposts, which is, kind of meh. We're not going to be making that many outposts anyways, because we want to be taking them from other people. With this, you actually get the ship that you capture, which is insanely powerful in the early game. And we're really going to want to be able to take advantage of that. And the way that you do that is you get the ship to move into an active blockade. So whenever it has 11 movement speed. So whenever he's one system away, or like at least sometimes 1.5 systems away, just throw up your blockade and wait a turn. It's going to delay your scouting, but you might just catch him. And if you can catch him early in the game, it's enormously advantageous. He'll be able to solo 1 or maybe even 2 neutral civs just by himself. And then we'll be able to pick those up very, very quickly. Okay, so we're about to finish our industrial plant, which is great. And then we'll be colonizing that ocean. You can see it went from 4 turns to 2 turns with that completion. Hopefully this guy's going to move up here and fall for my little scheme, but it doesn't look like it. He is. Oh wait, he is. Awesome. Turn 6 capture. That is incredibly amazing. That's so early. I mean, obviously, that's as early as you can possibly get it. And now we're going to do another little trick. So your next mission is you have to bring the intruder ship back to your main place and disband it in order for your scientists to study the ship. And until you do that, it can't actively take part in wars. You can see there it says this fleet can't take part in a fight, but it will aid in defensive actions and invasions. So since we have a scout sitting here, we can do an invasion on this place, and this guy will throw down his a huge number, his 333 manpower, instead of just having my 44. So we're actually going to initiate this invasion right now, do a preemptive bombardment. Yeah, you see we have the 374 instead of just 44. Do a preemptive bombardment, take this down to probably about 80, no, even more. We'll take it down to 20 manpower, and then and take it next turn. So that's going to be a turn 7 neutral civilization capture. Show me another civ that can do that. I don't think there is one. Okay, so we're going to colonize this ocean. This probably has dark glitter and some other either Hyperium or Titanium. That's usually what 2 subterranean curiosities indicates. Since we know that this is an area for dark glitter. It could also be Jade Onyx. I would love it to be Jade Onyx, but I have this sneaking suspicion that it's not. Okay, I'm not going to be that lucky, I don't think. Our xenobiology will be done next turn. I haven't found anyone yet, which is unfortunate. So I think I'm just going to grab a cerebral reality and then start pumping out some locusts. Because I want to have a good fleet prepared, so when I do find someone, I can pretty much just immediately go to war and take them out. That's really what's going to be most important. And in order to do that effectively, I'm going to want plasma metallurgy to get this interplanetary transport network, and then autonomous construction. Normally, if I had found someone by now, I would rush autonomous construction, and if I find someone soon, I will. Ooh, another minor civ. I will do exactly that. But at the moment, it's just not necessary. I don't need to yet. So they only have 20 guys. We're going to do a guerrilla action. Oh, they didn't die. Damn. I thought they were going to die. Whoops. Well, I guess that tells you. Just do a second preemptive bombing. And hopefully you'll be able to take them on turn 7. I did something stupid and wasn't. So, I guess we'll get a turn 8. Still pretty good. Ooh, that's kind of a nice place. A double step with blue cap mold. Awesome. Definitely don't care about the dark glitter. It is my arch enemy. It is my absolute least favorite luxury resource in the game. I will never, ever, ever use it for anything because it sucks. Yeah. So, I think that's it. I can't think of anything to do. I really wanted to get this last turn. That would have been nice. Alright, now they only have 7 guys. Doing a guerrilla action is still going to get it for us. There we go. Turn 8, minor faction assimilation. Frickin' awesome. Now we can pull this guy back to here and do our this disband. This completes this, gives us access to Hive Hall. Now, I think, let's see, so last game I sang the virtues of this Infinity Shield, and it's so good. It is so good late game. I mean, even in the early game, plus 30% health is huge. The problem is that this guy is also so good. He's so strong and is really good, especially if you can get him early. And since I have both Hyperium and Titanium deposits, I will get him pretty early. So this is a pretty big debacle. I think I'm going to go with the Infinity Shield just because of its utility late game. Yeah, I think that's going to be really strong. Yeah, I think it's going to be really strong. So we're going to go with that. So we need to obtain the 2 marked systems, which are going to be this one that we already got, and this one down here, which we're going to go get in the next second. Okay, so they are on an arid, and they're super angry. So we're going to do a... Oh, I guess I don't have... Do I not have the chain gang technology yet? I thought I started with it. Yeah, I should be able to do a chain gang program. Why won't it let me? Maybe because it thinks it will kill everyone? I don't know. Let's just have it build a cerebral reality. And then probably colonize this tundra, and we'll have these guys move over here. And then get that industrial plant, or the interplanetary communications thing. Okay, we can pull this guy out again and get him to move back over here. Because we're going to want to be going and attacking that amoeba colony. Amoebas have a great affiliate... Oh, this is a new one. So I guess that's a total crap assimilation trait for us, because we are never going to have an alliance, nor will we have peace. Ever in this game. Not once, because Cravers are actually incapable of doing either. So let's see what we got from these guys. Obedient Flock, plus 20% or plus 20 happiness on systems with a hero sign. Not bad, not great, not really excited about it, but it's something. It will help us out probably a little bit. What I'm going to try and do this game is work on my late game. Ooh, that's nice. Work on my late game Cravers strategy, and the difficulty in that. And what I'm going to be doing is trying to get this Conquest Victory, where you gain control of 46 star systems, which is a ton, especially since you get minus 10 happiness in every system for each system you exceed this maximum by. So right now you have 10, but there are a couple technologies pretty late in this tree that expand that. This one gives you 12, and this one gives you 14. So you can get up to 14 systems without getting over-colonization on happiness. We need 46. So that's 300 minus 320 happiness in every one of my systems just from over-colonization. And I'm going to try and find a way to counteract that. So I still have this massive empire, but also that it's still functioning. The other advantage of taking these guys so early is that hopefully they won't spawn any pirates, and I'll be able to do this pretty much unscathed. That's the hope, at least. Okay, this guy's still trucking along in the middle of nowhere. But as soon as he reaches a port, I'm going to pull him back and put him in my colony to get that forced labor bonus. Alright, so hopefully... Oh, another minor civ. Not bad. A little far away, but definitely within striking distance. After I take this, I'm definitely going to head over there. Yeah, I might as well just start this right now. I see no reason not to. Do our preemptive bombardment. Did a little bit of damage to me. Did a lot of damage to him. So yeah. We'll see. I think I should be able to take that without too much problem. And then once I come back around, I'll have some locusts waiting for me. Alright, turn 11. Pirates are going to spawn. More preemptive bombing. Minor victory. Killed another guy. They're down to 80. now we're going to have a battle. We can do a short introduction to range efficiencies now, but I'm probably going to get into these a little bit more later. So you can see that these guys have range efficiency at long range of 100%, medium at 80, and short at 0. That means they're having, they're using missiles. And so if I am capable of closing into short range from them, I won't be taking any damage because missiles just can't be used at short range. And the way you close into short range is that you select a battle card that has your flotilla with your ships in it going to short range. And that doesn't mean that they'll start at short range. They actually start at kind of this thing that I'm calling the least common denominator of cards. So for example, if I choose Turtle, where I have my first 2 flotillas closing to short range and the 3rd flotilla staying at medium range, and they choose something like Power to Shields, which has flotillas 2 and 3 stay at long range, and flotilla 1 go to medium range. What that means is that in the first phase of battle, well, battles are split into 3 phases, by the way. So in the first phase of battle, all flotillas start at the least common denominator of your cards, which means the longest distance that kind of both parties agree on. So in this case, since I want to be in short range for flotilla 1, but he wants to be at medium range for flotilla 1, flotilla 1s start at medium range. So flotilla 2, short to long, flotilla starts at long range, flotilla 2 starts at long range, and medium to long, flotilla 3 starts at long range. And then each phase of the battle, each flotilla is capable of closing 1 distance. So in phase 2, flotilla 1 will close from medium range to short range, flotilla 2 will close from long range to medium range, and flotilla 3 will close from long range to medium range. And at each phase, your guns fire. You can attack during each phase. At phase 3, flotilla 1 is already in short range, so they just do another attack another series of attacks from short range. Flotilla 2 closes to short range finally, does its attack, and flotilla 3 stays at medium range because it doesn't want to close into close range. The other thing that you need to consider when selecting battle cards and positioning your ships once you unlock flotilla 1 and flotilla 3 is that anytime you have ships in a flotilla and the enemy does not, then those ships start phase 1 at their optimal range. So even if he had a bunch of ships in flotilla 2 and wanted them all to stay at long range, and I had ships in flotilla 1 and 2, my ships in flotilla 1 would start at close range, and he wouldn't be able to be doing damage to them. On the other hand, that means that he's going to be focusing all of his fire only on my ships in flotilla 2. So you have to kind of think about that and balance those factors. And so picking a battle card is a little bit more subtle than just the benefits that it shows on the bottom. So hopefully that illustrates a little bit more about the battle system, and you can make some better decisions in your battles. So for this one, you can see that these guys are using missiles, have no ability to do damage at short range, so I really want to close distance as much as possible, so I pick Turtle to get into short range, and it just so happens that they also do physical damage, so the plus 55% hull plating absorption is also beneficial. So this is a beneficial double whammy, so definitely get Turtle and do the fight, and I should win significantly. Yep, killed one, did damage the other, took very little damage, and we can finish them off now. And with that little tutorial on the battle system, I'm going to end episode 1 of my my full playthrough of a Cravers game with commentary. I hope to see you guys back for the next episode, and take it easy.